The auditorium lights were harsh and unforgiving, casting long shadows across the empty stage. Outside, the laughter of children practicing for the school play filled the corridors, but inside, Hannah Ward stood frozen, gripping her script with trembling hands. At 10 years old, she had never felt smaller, lonelier, or more invisible. Her father, a towering figure in the corporate world, was always somewhere between boardrooms and flights, his love measured in occasional gifts and fleeting smiles. Her mother had left when Hannah was only 3, leaving a vacuum in her little heart that no toy or tutor could fill. And today, as she looked at the blank stage, she realized that her role in the play required a mother, someone to hold her hand, to comfort her when she stumbled over lines, to smile at her triumphs, someone she didn't have. With a shaky breath, Hannah approached her teacher, a kind woman named Ms. Roselyn, who had always had a gentle way of seeing the pain behind her students' smiles. "Ma'am, can you pretend to be my mom for the school play?" she whispered, her voice cracking as if years of loneliness had pooled into that single fragile request. The words hung in the air, heavy and trembling, and Ms. Roselyn's eyes softened immediately. If you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner. Ms. Roselyn knelt down to Hannah's level, brushing a stray curl from her forehead. "Of course, Hannah, I'd be honored." And in that moment, a spark of hope flickered in Hannah's chest, the first in years. The next few weeks became a delicate dance between rehearsals and stolen afternoons of laughter, stories, and whispered secrets. Hannah would cling to Ms. Roselyn's hand as they practiced lines, feeling the warmth of something she had longed for her entire life, and Ms. Roselyn, in turn, found herself drawn into the small, fiercely tender world of this little girl whose heart had been bruised by absence. But the world outside the school walls remained unyielding. Hannah's father, Victor Ward, a man whose name commanded respect in every corner of the city, remained a distant figure, his attention swallowed by contracts, mergers, and deadlines. He had forgotten birthdays, missed recitals, and overlooked the quiet cries for connection that his daughter's eyes sent him every evening. When he finally learned that Hannah had asked her teacher to play the role of her mother, his initial reaction was a mix of guilt and confusion, emotions foreign to a man trained to suppress vulnerability. The night of the performance arrived, and the auditorium buzzed with anticipation. Parents, teachers, and children filled the seats, the stage set with painted backdrops and props carefully arranged to create a little world where stories came alive. Hannah, dressed in a pale blue costume, stood backstage, her hands clutching Ms. Roselyn's reassuring hand. For a moment she hesitated, the weight of the spotlight pressing down on her, the echo of her father's absence whispering doubts into her heart. Then she looked up at Ms. Roselyn, whose eyes shone with unwavering encouragement. "You're not alone tonight, Hannah. Not ever," she said softly, and with that, Hannah stepped onto the stage. The audience held its breath as she delivered her lines with a courage she didn't know she possessed. When her part called for a mother's embrace, Ms. Roselyn knelt beside her, wrapping her in a warmth that was almost magical, almost real. Hannah felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes, but this time they were tears of relief, of recognition, of a longing finally soothed. And as she looked out into the audience, her gaze landed on her father. For the first time in years, Victor saw the fragile, brilliant heart of the little girl he had been too busy to notice. He felt a pang of regret so deep it made his chest ache, and he understood, perhaps too late, the precious moments he had lost. After the curtain fell and the applause washed over them like a tide of pure joy, Hannah ran to Victor, her small arms wrapping around his knees. He knelt down, swallowing back emotions that had been locked away for years, and whispered, "I'm here now, Hannah. I'm so sorry." And in that embrace the gap of years seemed to narrow, just a little, stitched together by tears, hope, and the fragile but unbreakable thread of love. Ms. Roselyn watched from the side, her heart full as she realized that sometimes being a mother isn't about giving birth, it's about giving presence, giving love, giving yourself to someone who needs it most. And as Hannah's laughter echoed in the emptying auditorium, she knew she had made a difference that would last a lifetime. If this story touched your heart, please engage with this video, like, comment, and share, so the message of hope and kindness can reach others. Before we end, let's take a moment to cherish every little act of love, every chance we have to be someone's anchor in the storm, for sometimes a single gesture can change a life forever.